Y'all won't believe what kind of pleasure it is to slowly but surely see our great emperor fold to our adorable Kim Dan. I mean, who can resist to such a gentle soul? I don't know about you, but I absolutely enjoy the slow burn we get and also experience how Jaekyung, though his grumpy attitude, still cares for Kim Dan. I can just repeat myself that Jaekyung has got such a black cat energy. Anytime he's being nice, he's acting as it's hurting it or it's a nuisance LOL. Someone's getting softer and softer. For example, when he would sleep outside and let Kim Dan sleep in his bed, he would really go that far and give up his whole bed for Kim Dan. He even took care of him and put off his dirty clothes. Do you think he wanted to go outside so that Kim Dan wouldn't think he'd try something to do with him in this mental state? He even anticipated that Kim Dan would kiss him, and we even got a bat him. I've got the feeling that he was so ready to get a kiss from Kim Dan since Kim Dan refused before. What was absolutely hilarious was the fact how Jaekyung, our strong champion, lost against Kim Dan when he pulled Jaekyung with only one hand back into the bed and held on right on him. Listen, I was wheezing LOL. Actually, it also fits him well that he was not hugging Kim Dan in the morning, though it made me furious, LOL. I was hoping that he would do it, but about rereading and thinking about it, it does not fit his personality. He's someone who opens up really slowly to others and perhaps due to his past isn't used to showing any kind of affection. It's definitely going to be a slow burn, but I'm so ready for it. I want him to be on his knees for Kim Dan and treat him as the most precious human being he is. But so far, we have to get used to the roller coaster of emotions this man gives us with each chapter, though so far from me, it isn't only aggressions anymore. But sadly, the aggressions are still there. Especially when he's talking about Kim Dan having a defect. Like, excuse me? The audacity. By no means, I don't want to defend him. But it's still refreshing to see a tiny bit of development. Let's not forget that the Jaekyung, for whom training and winning was everything, is pausing life in order to get Kim Dan back in his small village, helps elders without refusing, spends time with Kim Dan's grandma, and worries low-key for Kim Dan and his grandma. I know. This may be the bare minimum, but let's not forget that that's one of the main points of the story. Jaekyung changing. I sincerely can't wait to learn more about him. What kind of person was he before getting into boxing? What's about his family? Siblings? Friends? So far, we didn't get too much deep information about him. Only that he's like a sulking cat, LOL. Sadly, he's still stuck in Delulu land. And I guess he won't leaving too soon. He still denies needing Kim Dan as a human being, rather as a tool to help with his Jinx. He still thinks it's all about the Jinx. Like he really doesn't understand what those feelings and emotions are. For him, it seems for me that that is all that ever mattered in his life. What if he was forced to never lose from a young age? Still, he fulfills Grandma's wish and brings Kim Dan to a sleep specialist. I'm curious what the doctor said to Kim Dan. What do you think? We will get to that in a moment when talking about possible theories for the upcoming chapter. Beforehand, let's talk about possibilities from the previous thought, theories and predictions on Chapter 66 video, and whether they occurred or not. The first possibility included that they both will spend their night together at Jaekyung's place. They will either sleep together or Jaekyung will sleep on the floor. This absolutely happened. We definitely saw them sleep together in bed at Jaekyung's place, though Jaekyung intended to not sleep with Kim Dan in bed. The second possibility was about another sleepwalking incident that could occur during the night. That did luckily not happen. But I've got the feeling that this is something that still could happen in future chapters, since it's a relevant aspect of the plot now and nothing that can be cured instantly. The third possibility were my delusions, LOL, though I still wouldn't say that this is false. It was about both of them spend a peaceful night together without any incident, and Kim Dan wakes up confused what happened and where he is. Jaekyung would realize that his sleep improves when sleeping with Kim Dan. Actually, though he didn't say it per se, I do think that it was the case because he was sleeping deep, and did you also see his messy hair? Jaekyung definitely had a good sleep. Prove me wrong. We also got a confused Kim Dan who couldn't understand what happened. So, what about the upcoming chapter? What are possibilities and opportunities that are likely to happen? Firstly, I think it's highly possible that the chapter will continue where it ended, at the hospital during the consultation with the sleep specialist. We lastly saw Kim Dan's shocked face, so perhaps it's possible that we will learn more about the diagnosis, which is obviously related to his mental state, which is absolutely horrible. Perhaps we even get to see Jaekyung's reaction and his POV or thoughts about it. Secondly, I think it's also possible that the chapter will continue with the consultation at the sleep specialist, but will also include the evening after being at the hospital. What if they're at Jaekyung's place again? Because Kim Dan has to rest, and it would be too far away to drive back to the small village. What if he even has to stay at a hospital for recovery? I'm not sure, but I guess we will get to experience a tiny change in Jaekyung's attitude towards Kim Dan. But I'm not sure though. His temper is volatile. Thirdly, it's possible that something might happen to Kim Dan's grandma since she stated that there isn't much time left. What if Kim Dan and Jaekyung return to the village since they didn't say goodbye to grandma? What if Kim Dan won't be able to talk to her anymore before she passes away? I know this is something inevitable, but I do hope that it's not in the next chapter already, though it might be closer than we think. So, I'm not too sure on this possibility though. But what are your thoughts, theories, and predictions for the upcoming Jinx chapter 67? Let me know in the comments. Each update is exciting, and I'm really curious where this journey will bring us.